At this time, I'd like to introduce Dave Rice, who has been involved in putting this special presentation together for us. Dave.
Thank you, everybody. We certainly appreciate all you folks, men and women, for being here. I'm going to ask Bob Dome to step forward, please, a member of the squadron who's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Bob?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Bob. You guys stay up here with us if you don't mind. Let me tell you why we're here for this special presentation and how it came about. A few years ago, we had an event here at the Art Center that had the largest crowd in the history of the Art Center, and it was the Tuskegee Airmen who were honored that night. And one of the honorees was one of the original airmen, and the picture that we're going to be presenting, the Squadron, is an actual picture of his plane in aerial combat to his recollection and the recollection of other pilots that witnessed it. His name was Colonel Leo Gray. He's still alive. And we brought him into town along with the artist who presented this particular piece to us. And why we're doing this tonight and giving it on a permanent loan to the squadron, so to speak, is that this painting does not really belong in a gallery. We're not a museum because we change our pictures all the time. Where this picture belongs is in more of a museum atmosphere, and no better place than our most local United States Air Force Auxiliary Civil Air Patrol, and I can't think of a better place for it. When I first contacted Bob through a very old friend of mine who recently received a 50th year pin in his quest to be a member of Civil Air Patrol, Dick Neese, and his wife, I expected him to be here actually, but his wife is near 50 years too, I believe, next October, so those two will have served 100 years next October in the service of Civil Air Patrol, and we have to get them here. We will. The Civil Air Patrol is dear to my heart for a couple of reasons, and one main reason is a few years back, a very close friend of mine, Jim Matthews, on a search and rescue mission one evening, he and his pilot crashed in the Everglades. Hundreds of us boat owners on Marco helped search for that wreckage, and it was actually weeks and weeks and weeks before it was found. And so these people are heroes. A lot of them are veterans themselves, airline pilots, retired, and when they go up, they're risking life and limb with very little fanfare for those of us that get lost out there. And it sure is easy to get lost in the Everglades. So keep that in mind when you hear about the Civil Air Patrol, because it's a wonderful organization. How this came about was due to a friend of mine, the artist. His name is Clint Martin. Clint Martin is not a member of the Tuskegee Airmen. He was too young. But his uncle was an original Tuskegee Airman, and he became enthralled and became their historian. And being an artist, he became their artist. He lives in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. He's a very educated man. He's a retired dentist. He lives across the street from my in-laws, and he's a real Southern gentleman. And we had him, he and his wife, as our guests, and he painted this painting as his last painting. His paintings are in the Smithsonian. It's in the United States Air Force Academy and many Air Force-related museums around the country. We're very happy to have received this gift, and I think it's going to the right place. What we're going to do now is I'm going to have Barb Corgabo come up with me here. And Bob, it's going to be our pleasure to present this to Squadron. And in order to present it, we're having our Executive Director, Hyla Cream, and our President, Rosemary Witt, unveil it. We will consider it unveiled. Anyway, in the essence of being brief, we're not going to make this a long-winded situation, and we also want to make sure that these folks and I get up to the airport for the rest of the deal. But I will say this, when I brought that picture up initially for them to look at it and see if they were interested, the first thing Bob said is, we're painting this entire room for this picture. Has it been completed?
Absolutely.
Well, it's been completed, so I can't wait to see it. But this painting is really going to be quite an episode up there, because a whole room just for this picture at this time is great, and hopefully in the future a lot of memorable historical things will show up there. I'm going to introduce Bob Corbo. He's the commander. And I also like to introduce the Deputy Colonel Major Cynthia Dome. Major Dome, step aside, just step up. She's very shy. I can't understand why she's so shy. She's a major, for God's sake, you know. But anyway, I'm going to ask Bob to just say a few words about the Civil Air Patrol and this painting. Bob?
Thank you, Dave. Well, as the representative of the squadron, we're very, very honored to be able to display the painting. It's very appropriate that it stands in a hall where many pilots, co-pilots, and lovers of aviation will be able to see it. As Dave said, it did give us the inspiration to paint our squad room, and we changed the color scheme, and we actually moved over a lot of our bulletin boards, so we do have a memorial wall just for the painting. So after this, we're going to be going over there to hang the painting, and you're welcome to come. It's only going to take about 5-10 minutes. We're going to put the painting there, take a couple of pictures, shut the lights off, and go home. But we're very honored to be amongst the hallowed establishments, the Smithsonian, the Pentagon, the U.S. Air Force Museum, the U.S. Army Museum, the D-Day Museum in New Orleans, and now the Marco Island Squadron, to be displaying one of the Tuskegee paintings. Just to give you a little bit of idea of what the Civil Air Patrol is, I did leave some brochures out front if some of you are really interested and know a little bit more about it and want to possibly contribute to our cause. Please pick up one of those brochures. We've been around since the beginning of World War II. We were a volunteer pilot program that decided to go up and volunteer our services to patrol the shorelines looking for German submarines. Over the years, we were chartered by Congress. We are now an auxiliary of the United States Air Force. We have 3 main missions. One is cadet programs, which is very, very similar to the Boy Scouts, but probably on a little higher level. And the youth that we have in that program are quite exemplary. Aerospace education is another area that we get involved with, not only with the cadets, but with schools and other associations. And emergency services. And that's probably where you see us or you hear of us the most. I'll give you a few examples. When our airspace was shut down, right after 9/11, the first planes in the air to monitor the disaster was the Civil Air Patrol. We were the planes that first went up after Sandy to monitor the damage there. And we were the planes who put 2,000 hours worth of flying over the BP oil spill, photographing the oil slicks and the directions that they were going in, and also reporting on the beach situation. Locally, we do have 2 kind of unique things that we do here at Marco Island. because we're so close to the international borders of the United States, we do some exercises with the Air Force and Homeland Security, basically to help train in different scenarios regarding our borders and potential drug invasions and things of that sort. We do those operations at least twice a month with the Air Force. For Collier County, what we do, and this is self-funded, the Air Force does give us money to maintain the planes and the hangars and things of that sort, and to do search and rescue operations and exercises. But the service that we do for Collier County is self-funded, and that's where we need the help of everybody who contributes to our fundraising. What we do is at least once a week, and we try to do that more often. It's directly proportional to the amount of money that we get. But we do what's called the Wilderness Waterway and Coastal Patrol, where we go out and we fly low and slow all the way down past Everglades City, at least another 100 miles further south than that, along the Wilderness Waterway, looking for kayakers, boats, and ski-doos that may have gotten into trouble. And then we come back around and we follow the shoreline all the way up and across Morocco Island beaches, and then back to the airport. And we do this several times. During the summer, it's a little more boring because there's not that many boats out there to look at. But as we're doing our coastal patrols now, the number of boats and kayaks and ski-doos are definitely increasing. So that's what we do. We also do a lot of flyovers for some of the veteran ceremonies, the Memorial Day ceremonies. So if you're interested, there is some pamphlets out there for you to grab, and my information is on there. We meet at the Marco Island Airport, Executive Airport, which is on Mainsail Drive, right off of 951. It's the second light after you get off the island. The first light takes you to Isles of Capri. The second light will take you to Mainsail. You follow that all the way down to the end till you see airplanes. And then you know you're at the right place. Our hangar is quite conspicuous, so you can't miss it. We meet the first and the third Monday of the month. Everybody is welcome to come in and see what we're all about. Okay. So if you have any questions, see the brochure or see me after. I got a few business cards, but we're looking forward to displaying this in a place of honor where it will be appreciated. And I want to thank you.
Hyla, would you come up here, please? This is our last part of this deal. I wish we had a gold pen for everybody on this, like the president.
It's silver.
It's silver. However, Hyla being an attorney as well as our executive director, we have an agreement form here so that both institutions have the legal right to know what is responsible for them and how it is on a permanent loan. The idea of the permanent loan came to mind when I thought that we would have in the future various events here celebrating veterans and war hero types of things, and we would like to know that we could request using it for a couple of days whenever one of those events happens. So I think it's a good deal for both of us, and I think that it's a wonderful opportunity that Marco Island has another feather in its cap to be part of some places that Bob mentioned that paintings from this gentleman are located in the Pentagon, etc. So we're big time here now, Bob, and we want to tell you how much we appreciate it. So let's give him a big round of applause. Well, here we are in part 2 of the big deal, donating this picture on a Lend-Lease program from the Civil Air to the Civil Air Patrol from the Art League in Marco Island. This is a wonderful place for this painting to be. The room is gorgeous. The emblem is gorgeous. I was here before. It's like a transformed room. I heard that Cynthia did all the painting. But Bob, we know that it's in good hands.
Yes, it is.
We know where it is if we ever need it. And I can't wait to see Clint, the artist. Be seeing him on Thanksgiving in Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Oh, great.
And I'll make sure that, number one, he knows what we did, because he already does. And hopefully we'll get a tape so we can give him, so he will know that one of his paintings is in another memorable place.
Yeah,
So
thank you very much.
congratulations.
Okay.
You bet. Thanks, everybody.
One thing to remember about the Tuskegee Airmen, they had the best combat record in World War II. They had to struggle really to get even the ability to fly in an airplane. At the beginning, they got all the leftover airplanes, but they were quickly renowned as the red-tailed angels because they did such a great job in the air. And they were sort of like the beginning of breaking down the color barrier in the service. So we have a lot to look at.